Tiles, toes, and teeth. Welcome back to Sound the Siren. I'm Xavier.
I'm Dylan. Welcome back to the final segment of our positions. Today we look at the top 10 point guards. Any honourable mentions, Dave? We may as well just get straight into it.
I don't have any specific ones, but I think the point guard position is the hardest one that we've had to do because every team in the NBA at the moment seems to have a good point guard, whether it be like Eric Bledsoe, DeJounte Murray, Mike Conley, John Wall, De'Aaron Fox. He's my biggest honourable mention, De'Aaron Fox. I think he was the stiffest, and John Wall would probably make it if he wasn't injured. But yeah, as I said, every team has at least one good point guard. Some even have two.
Absolutely. My honourable mentions, I've got John Wall, Malcolm Brogdon, Ja Morant, and Lonzo Ball.
My number 10 is your honourable mention, Ja Morant. He's averaging 17.6 points, 3.5 assists, 7 assists, sorry, and 3.5 rebounds. Almost a steal a game. I've got him number 10, very close with De'Aaron Fox. And I think the person, whichever one of them made the playoffs this year would have been my number 10. And at the moment, Jar's sitting just above the Kings. So I've got him number 10 and De'Aaron Fox number 11.
Yeah, my number 10 is De'Aaron Fox. I know someone out there that will be happy he made this list. He's averaging 20 and a half points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, but he needs better players around him. I like Buddy Hield, and that's really about it. He's only shooting 30% from three. For him to join elite company, he needs an elite resume and squad around him. While we're on Sacktown, what are your thoughts on Bogdan Bogdanovic and Marvin Bagley?
I think they've got a great young core over in Sacramento, and I think they could go a long way. Not yet at this stage. I don't think they're going to make the push into the playoffs this year, but in the future, I can see them making a lot of damage. And good luck to them, I guess. My number 9 is Trae Young. Statistically, this year he's probably been a top 3 or 4 point guard. He's averaging almost 30 points and almost 10 assists. And over a steal a game. He reminds me quite a bit of like a young Steph Curry or Steve Nash. Yeah, I know that's the one that he prefers to be referenced to, but his deep shooting is incredible. Great playmaker. He can score the ball at will, and I think it's just the defense that lets him down a little bit.
Absolutely. My number 9 as well, Trae Young. They've got a really great young core. We've said many times, Cameron Reddish, John Collins, Trae Young, obviously. First time All-Star appearance this year. As you said, an efficient shooter, unreal range. We've said multiple times that we're excited, for their future. What are your thoughts on the Luka versus Trae battle?
I like Trae Young more, but I think that Luka Doncic is a better player at this period of time. But I think it's a bit unfair to judge Trae Young versus Luka because I think the trade actually had Trae Young and a first round pick, which ended up being Cam Reddish, I think. So the debate has to be more Trae Young and Cam Reddish or Luka. And I think it's probably even at this period of time. So.
Before we get on to your number 8, we've just heard recently that Vince Carter has retired, and we have to pay respects to him. A phenomenal career, outstanding, one of the best athletes I've ever seen. That Olympic dunk over Frederick Weiss, I think you pronounce it, all time, one
Yeah.
of the best.
I have seen a little bit in the media just recently that perhaps he hasn't had a Hall of Fame career. What do you think about that? Do you reckon he's a Hall of Famer?
I think he's had a Hall of Fame career.
I think I was a bit shocked when I saw that, and then it kept coming up and again and again and again. I thought he's for sure a first ballot Hall of Famer. Be surprised if he doesn't get in.
Your number 8.
My number 8 is Kyle Lowry. 19.6 points, almost eight assists, and almost 1.5 steals. Playing on winning basketball again, playing well for the Raptors. All-Star again this year, one of the best defensive guards in the league, great at taking charges, and he takes my number 8 spot.
My number 8 is Jamal Murray. He averages a cool 19 points, 5 assists. His shooting percentage has decreased since his rookie season, but I think it's due to his confidence to shoot. His defense as well has accelerated. I enjoy watching him in Denver, and I think Bol, if given a chance, could blend in nicely. What are your thoughts?
I think Bol's got a lot of potential and could fit nicely with them. Yeah, I do agree with that. But I didn't have DeJounte Murray on this list. Jamal Murray, sorry, on this list, but he is pretty close, and I think he's a good fit with Denver, and hopefully can cause some damage in the playoffs. My number 7 is Chris Paul. He's averaging almost 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists, which is a career low. But for his career, he averages 9.5 assists, and we all know he's having a good year this year. He's been an all-star again, playing very well on the Thunder. He's going to take them to the playoffs when most people didn't think that they would make it. He's one of the best defensive guards in the league, even in his old age, and is averaging up over 1.5 steals. So.
My number 7 is Kyle Lowry. Hall of Famer for sure. Averages 20 points, 5 rebounds, near 8 assists, along with the steal. Always been a solid 3-point shooter, not exceptional. I was ecstatic when he won his first chip. His leadership over the years has been instrumental for that Toronto team. However, I was devastated when DeMar was traded, but it worked out for them. Can they challenge other teams this year?
I don't think that they're going to make the finals. I think that the Bucks should have that pretty much on lock, but I think they can definitely make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're better than the Heat, no offense. I think they can beat the 76ers. I think it's them and the Celtics really battling for that other spot in the conference finals. My number 6 is Kemba Walker. I just touched on the Celtics then, but averaging over 20 points, over 4 assists, and over 4 rebounds. He's played well at the Celtics. He's always been good in his career, but now he's finally playing a part in winning basketball. Kemba was my 5th before we started filming, but I've moved him down just one spot since we started. The person above him, I think, is just has a little bit more potential and has played a little bit better than this season. Your number 6, Dylan?
My number 6 as well, Kemba Walker, averages 21 points, as you said. He's taken a step back after leaving Charlotte, an elite ball handler with the potential to form a big 3 with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown if they continue to develop. Always shot a low percentage from the floor, but he's always had to take the majority of the shots. Excels at breaking down defenders one-on-one, lightning fast, and highly skilled. While I mentioned Jason Tatum, what are your thoughts on his new haircut?
I'm not the biggest fan. I think it looks a bit funny on him, but whatever floats his boat, I guess. Do you reckon the Celtics can make the finals?
I don't know. It's a tough one. They have their on and off days, but in the end, they've got a really skilled roster, and they definitely do have the potential to challenge the Bucks.
I think one of the biggest advantages for the Celtics is that they're one of the deepest teams in the league with Kemba, Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Gordon Hayward. I think they've got a lot of people that can score them 20 on any given night and lock up people on the other side. So I think they could make some damage, but as I said before, I think I've still got the Bucks. Yeah. My number 5, who was just below Kemba at the start of this podcast, but has moved up now, is Ben Simmons. I know you had him as a small forward, but I view him as a point guard. He's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals, which is a league high. He's 6'10". He can guard 1 through 5. I think he's probably a top 5 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year this year. He's leading the league in steals, as I said, and I think he's first among point guards for blocks. So, yeah, that's my number 5.
I won't ask you about the Embiid-Simmons situation again because I know we've discussed it many times. You'll have to look into another video if you want to see that.
I think there was a question on our channel, though, about Ben Simmons' potential. And I think the sky's the limit for him, to be honest. I think he could do whatever he wants to do in his league. If the Sixers can successfully surround him with shooters, I think I could see him averaging 10, 11 assists a game. And winning a championship. And he's probably one of the only people on this list that I can see truly being the best player in the league. And I mean that I mean that truly. And I can see him being the best. Just needs to develop his outside game a little bit more.
Which he's shown he's capable of. My number 5, Kyrie Irving, averages 27 points, 6 assists and a steal. Best handle in the league by far. And he had the chance to hit one of the best game winners in history this year in his first game with Brooklyn. He had 50 as well that game. You know which one I'm talking about. The street ball move, fell on the ground, picked it back up. The right foot dribble on the elbow. Just missed it though.
My number 4 is Kyrie. He's averaging 27 points, as you said. His playmaking, I think, has come a long way in the last few years as far as like getting assists and stuff. We know what he did on Cleveland, and perhaps he wasn't the best fit uh, in Boston, but hopefully he can play well with KD in the Nets. And
My number 4 is Chris Paul. This is the controversial pick save. Kyrie has the accolades, but I think Chris is a better leader. He's proven it this year with the Thunder, and as I said in our first episode, he's the most underrated player in the league, I think. If he had a championship, he'd be a Hall of Famer, which he might be anyway. He's averaging 18, 5, and 7 with 1.5 steals, but I don't think the stats really say much without context. You know, many people, including myself and you, ruled OKC out of the playoffs before the year, and he's just proved them wrong. Selfless, efficient, and creative as a distributor.
I think he'll 100% be a Hall of Famer. He's had the career. He's one of the top defensive guards of all time, really. He's made some of the most defensive teams out of any player ever. And yeah, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. And you said a lot of people underrate him, but I think you might be overrating him a little bit at number 4. I'd still take Kyrie over him at this period of time. But
yeah.
Also, just quickly on Ben Simmons, you had him in the small forward category, and you had him above Paul George. I view Paul George as like a top 12, 10 player in the league. So where do you rank Ben Simmons amongst all players?
I think based off of this year, Ben Simmons is a bit better. PG's still a bit injured. It wasn't his full self. When the season comes back, I think he'll be able to show his true colours once again with Kawhi, deadly team. But yeah, Simmons, I think at the moment sits in the top 15 and will definitely keep moving up the ranks as the seasons progress.
Mm-hmm. My number 3 is Russell Westbrook. He's averaging almost 28 points, 8 assists, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. He's one of the best rebounding guards in the league. He gets assists, gets triple doubles at will. I think there was a quote from him last year. It said, he said that he was the best scorer at his position, the best rebounder at his position, the best playmaker at his position, and the best defender at his position. And I'm not sure that all of that's true, but I think the box score says that he's definitely like top 2 or 3 in all of them, as in he's won back-to-back assist titles, he's won scoring titles before, he constantly leads point guards for rebounds, and he was top 2 or 3 for steals last year as well, and looks like he might be again this year. So I think he might be overrating himself a little bit, but I think he's a very good player, and he's my number 3 point guard.
I think our lists are going to be very similar from here. My number 3 as well, Russell Westbrook. I said this about Vince, but Russ and Vince both the most athletic and explosive players ever. Russ is a constant triple-double threat, scores from all over the court, dishes out assists, and I'm surprised that OKC team in the last 2 years didn't go far.
Yeah, for sure. I think Paul George and Westbrook, I think maybe they could have ran it back one more time, but both teams are having success at their respective teams now. Yeah, my number 2 is Damian Lillard, averaging 29 points, almost 8 assists. His defense isn't quite up there with some other point guards in the league, but he can score at will. His shooting from deep is very good. He had very good success in the playoffs last year, and we'll see if he can get into the playoffs this year.
Absolutely, yep. My number 2, Damian Lillard. I really wanted to put him number 1, Zave, but Steph has the accolades and is a bit better. Dame, he hit, if not the clutchest shot of all time, definitely top 5. Him and Kawhi, just 2 crazy shots in the same playoff series, which is unbelievable. But yeah, that Portland team will come back strong with Nurkic and Hood next year.
My number 1 is Steph Curry. This season obviously hasn't been his best season. He's been injured for a lot of it, but he's one of the best shooters of all time, if not the best. Makes a good playmaker, scores very well. He's won 2 MVPs, made it to the finals last year. Yeah, absolute superstar, and my number 1. I'm not sure, one of our friends may not be very happy with that. I don't think he had him in his top 5 point guards, but he's my number 1.
Yeah, my number 1. I used to heavily dislike this man, but since then I've come to love his game. Best shooter in the world, just above Ray Allen. Pains me to say that, but he is. He's proven himself. There's really nothing else for him to do. He's already a champion. He's already an all-star. Just unbelievable player. Who will stay on this Warriors team though? So I think Eric Pascal, maybe Damian Lee, but I'm not sure who else.
I think if they're going to try and trade for Giannis, I think Steph Curry is really the only one that is 100% safe. I'd like to see them keep Curry and Clay and see if they can run that with Giannis and probably be the best trio of all time. But I think Draymond, their number one pick or whatever pick they get this year, as well as Pascal, I think they could all get traded for Giannis in the off season. If the Anthony Davis trade is anything to go by, you could see the whole team getting traded, really. His lack of finals MVP, do you think that hurts him in overall ranking for players all time?
I mean, he should have had one of them at least, I think. 2015, Iguodala, they say he locked up LeBron, but he almost averaged a triple-double LeBron.
No
And
one
then,
can lock down LeBron.
and then
Slowed him down.
2017, Durant took it, but I think Steph should have. So I think he should have had one of them.
Mm.
But yeah, it does hurt him a little bit. So that just about wraps it up for this week. Anything else to say, Zave?
Nothing from me.
No?
Wraps up our series, and look forward to more NBA content coming soon.
More NBA content. The NBA is coming back in less than a month, so that's going to be awesome to watch. That new playoff bracket, you've seen it, Zave, 1 to 8, and then 8 and 9 will play off if it's 4 games in between. But yeah, so really looking forward to that. Should be.
Just on that new playoff bracket, quickly, Dylan. Do you see anyone actually forcing a play-in tournament? Anyone outside of the top 8?
I think New Orleans will. They've got the easiest schedule. The stats actually do say it. The easiest New Orleans and Philadelphia, and the hardest is Miami, unsurprisingly. But yeah, I think New Orleans can definitely force it, and maybe Washington if they manage to get a couple games under their sleeve. But
yeah, I think before the schedule came out, I didn't really see anyone forcing a play-in tournament. But with the schedule coming out and New Orleans having the easiest schedule and Memphis having I think it was the third hardest schedule, I could definitely see the Pelicans forcing a play-in tournament. So out of anyone outside of the top 16 teams, who do you think could cause the most damage if they made it to the playoffs?
Definitely New Orleans. Definitely. I think they've got experience, they've got youth, they've got talent. And yeah, you never know. They've shown up the Lakers a couple times. They haven't won, but they've had 2 close battles against them at New Orleans. So they could definitely do some damage.
For me, it's definitely New Orleans or the Trailblazers. I'd love, because Damian Lillard could go for 50 any given night and force a win for the Trailblazers. But I'd love to see Zion versus LeBron in the first round of the playoffs. That would be very good and a very good spectacle to watch.
Absolutely. So that wraps it up for this week. The series is finished. We'll have some new videos coming, some new topics. Yeah, until next time, hope you enjoy. If you get to this point of the video, let us know who you think's going to win the NBA. And until next time.